Welcome back. We're in the week 8 of Fantasy Focus. I'm John,
I'm Javelle.
I'm Kyle.
and we're going to fill you in on everybody we like, we don't like, and everything else in between. Before we get started, go ahead and send us in your lineup questions. We'd love hearing them, and it was fun last week.
It was good fun last week. We had some good questions, for deeper leagues.
Yeah.
I heard Godson, he did well for us.
Yes.
He got our guy 11 points, I think he told me. So he said thanks for that. So let's lock back in today, guys.
Yep.
Just like normal, quick Thursday night football recap.
Let's get it.
Sounds good.
Nakua and Cup both returned, which turned out to be a big deal for Stafford. He had 4 touchdowns in the game, which was easily his best game of the season. Darnold has 2 himself. And it looks like the NFC West, that's tightening up real quick with Seahawks kind of struggling of late. The Niners kind of still struggling. I think it's a 1-game lead between first and fourth. And then the Lions gained some breathing room with the Vikings losing.
Yeah, it was a good game. Like you said, having Nakua and Cup back, crazy how much of a difference it is for the Rams offense. It's so crazy. I think he's going to be your yards guy and Cup's going to be your touchdown guy. So when you guys need to weigh that out, just think about that. Like, he's going to get the yards, Nakua, and then Cup's because Cup's only had like 57 yards, but he had a touchdown. Nakua, I think, had over 100.
Yes.
Yeah, like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, man. So just keep that in mind, guys.
Thank you, Rams, as a Lion fan, by the way.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. It's first game of the week is Baltimore and Cleveland. And I'm going to let Javelle take this one.
Yay. I don't know. Let me stop. Winston's playing. So I think the passing game, it turns up a little bit just because Winston's playing today. Winston, he's going to take those deep shot chances. He might get him or he's going to throw an interception. He went 30 for 30 one year. Like 30 interceptions, 30 touchdowns. It's insane. So he might get you. So I kind of like Judy a little bit. I think Judy get a little touchdown because he's been your little, in whatever offense this is, he's been the guy that's been running down the field, actually getting separation. The quarterback just couldn't get him the ball. So I think he gets the ball today. So I kind of like him. And I like Bateman. I think with the matchup with, I think Denzel Ward stays and travels with Zay Flowers. Denzel Ward's been an absolute beast. Anybody, that's been on him, he's been shutting down. So I like that. But separate, anybody that's not been Denzel Ward has been getting cooked. Yes. Greg Newsom's been getting cooked.
Yep.
Martin Emerson's been getting cooked. So I think Bateman gets in the touchdown for sure today.
So you like Judy, I like Tillman, and I like Moore as well. I think Moore could be that sneaky guy just because of how far he's fallen, but getting a guy like Jameis that's just going to chuck and he doesn't care. Plus, Moore does a great job at finding space. Like he did it in New York, and he's done it in Cleveland. It's just you haven't necessarily seen the looks go his way just because of the other guys they've had around. So like losing Cooper, obviously now you have the backup quarterback coming in, and it just fits really well for Moore to potentially have a big day if you're in a deeper league like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have Zay Flowers on your team, I'd say to go off him today. He actually, aside from having Denzel Ward being in the radius of him, he's also has some apparent ankle injuries he's kind of dealing with and stuff, so he's going to maybe be a little slower than usual. So I think if you are debating between some people, maybe Flowers is not the way to go this week.
And touch back on the Ravens, because we haven't talked about them. Look for the tight ends. Look for one of the tight ends to have a big day. And my money would be on Andrews just because of what he's done the last couple of weeks, and likely has definitely fallen off as Andrews has kind of gotten more looks. And I feel like that's the way Lamar's been going, especially having Flowers against Ward more than likely. And potentially, if Bateman can't get going or Bateman does get going early to where Andrews could feast later on, I feel like it could be a really good matchup for him.
And Andrews is back, baby. I mean, the last 2 games he's scored a touchdown. I'm not saying he's going to be.
He's looked like Andrews of old, but it's just I think they're still trying to figure out their offense with Henry. Like Henry's going to get his, But like I feel like it's just trying to figure out the passing game because I haven't had a running back like this. So he has kind of been like their pseudo like, all right, we can't run, so he's gonna.
I
Do
think
the,
they're
the dink
figuring
and
out
dunk
pretty.
stuff.
I think they're figuring out pretty good. Like they're gonna get off to them early leads, and then it's just Derrick Henry time. You know, I mean, that's what the Browns used to do with Nick Chubb. You know, the year that they were good, that's what it was.
Yeah.
They get up to early lead, and then it was Nick Chubb time. So, and that's what I think Derrick Henry is gonna be. I mean, I think he was a little salty on the sidelines last week because they wasn't looking at him, but they were just such pass heavy stuff, and it was Justice Hill time.
Yeah.
But then it was like, all right, now we're comfortable, and they put Derrick Henry in, and he got a touchdown, and then he was happy. You know, so.
But outside of that, like I feel like running backs are probably like kind of like if you have Henry, you're gonna start him. But like as far as like the Browns backfield,
Yeah.
probably look away this week at the very
Yeah.
least.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you want to see Chubb get a full workload and then go from there.
I think he gets another 10 carries.
yeah,
you know, they're not gonna.
they're gonna slowly ease him back in because obviously the season's kind of gotten away from him a little bit. But like it's don't rush it back to where he re-aggravates anything.
That's a great point. Yeah, I would say so. That's a good guess.
Yeah, and I know you guys are gonna start Derrick Henry, but I'm off on him this week just because he hasn't performed well against the Browns defensive line.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I just why have to use him when you're gonna kill everything over the top?
If you have
that.
other viable options,
Yeah.
but trust me, if you have
You're gonna
Derrick
start.
Henry,
Yeah.
you're gonna
He's
start.
he's still gonna get a touchdown. He will get 7. So, but let's move on.
All right, Tennessee and Detroit's the next game up. Kyle, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I like David Montgomery coming back from his knee injury. He's looking to get back in the mix, and I do think he will with the suspension of Williams. Yeah, so they got a guy out, so I think you're going to see David Montgomery have a big day today. And then also, as far as I'm off of Laporta for the week. If you got some, another tight end to start, maybe not him. The Titans have had recent success with stopping tight ends.
I would say they give up the least amount of points to tight ends in the league this year.
So I think this is the day if you weren't gonna start him, or if he's gonna have a bad day, this is the day that he would probably. And I like Laporta a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big Laporta fan, but like you kind of want to see it actually happen. It's been slow this year. Like Williams being out will give him an opportunity potentially, like for those extra looks. But for the most part, like them trying to figure out how to get Williams involved has kind of really hindered like Laporta's involvement within the offense.
Yep.
But like as far as like this game, like Tennessee, it's been rough sailing for that team this year, and it's unfortunate because they have a lot of talent there, a lot of young talent, but like it's just hasn't kind of come together offensively. Defensively, it's been solid. Yeah. But offensively, it's been rough.
Yeah, and thanks a lot, Tennessee, for stealing our offensive line coach. And then I think it would be a lot better off if Bill Callahan just stayed with Cleveland and his son just kind of found a different offensive line coach.
Yeah, and just
maybe
did
there's
his
a little
own
bit too
thing.
much
Don't
pressure
go
from
calling
dad over
daddy
his
to
shoulder
come
down
save
there.
you. No, I get it too. So I agree with Montgomery. Also Gibbs. I think just the backfield.
Just the running game.
Yeah, but Montgomery definitely. Which I do want to say, I told you guys last week he had 5 fantasy points. It was not his day last week. So this week is definitely a bounce back week. So I agree there. And then I also agree with Laporta not having big day today.
I do like Goff in this game, even though like Tennessee has done a good job against quarterbacks. I feel like they're going to be looking to spread it around,
especially early.
Yeah, especially early. Like it's just what they do. Like, and he has been like you look at his numbers the last month. Nobody's better in the league.
Yeah.
As far as just what he's done, it's insane. I think he has something like 6 incompletions over his last 4 games.
Yeah, dude, he's
like it's
insanely accurate right now.
Maybe he's got 5 over his last 3, but like it's an insane stretch that he's on. Nothing is hitting the ground. Like it's just, and this team is starting to roll too. Like they're figuring it out. And you saw it last week against Minnesota. Like Minnesota was not in that game.
No.
But all right, we're going to move on to the next game, Indy and Houston. See, this one is intriguing to me because offensively it should be a fun game to watch, but I don't know if it actually is.
Really?
Both defenses are pretty decent.
Nah, I don't. All right, so listen, we talk about bounce back weeks.
Oh.
CJ is about to light it up today, bro.
It's hard not to bounce back. He had less than 100 passing yards last week.
He had 6 fantasy points, and he's my quarterback in every league I have. So that's great for me. But nah, dude, yeah, bounce back week. I'm going with CJ. I love him. I can't really see that.
I think we're both big on Downs this week.
Yep, Downs.
I feel like Downs works really well within that offense, and he's kind of like surpassed the other guy they have there, Pittman. Like Pittman is kind of feels like he's slowly disappearing a little bit. If he doesn't have like a 30-yard catch in the game, he doesn't really do anything.
Flacco's not the starting quarterback. Pittman's not the number 1 receiver.
Yeah. Like
Anthony Richardson loves Downs.
Richardson loves Downs. He loves Alec Pierce too.
Yeah.
For a long ball.
Deep throw.
Like, and I know you're not big on Taylor this week, but you got to start him. I feel like he's coming back healthy as well. Like he has no injury designation for this week.
You don't think he's going to be playing from down the whole game?
I mean, it's a divisional game. It's hard to say. Like these teams know each other really well. To where especially Indy's capable of getting out to a fast start too. Like we've seen it in the past. And if that happens, it's going to be a heavy dose of JT.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be up. I think they're going to be playing from behind. That's why I don't like. And JT is coming back from injury,
yeah.
So that's a little red flag for me.
I know he could have played last week, but I think they just held him out just for safety precautions. And like the guys they had behind him aren't bad.
No, not at all. Sherman and Godson,
making sure he's good to go, it made sense. I mean, it sucked for my fantasy teams, but but yeah, it just kind of made sense. But like there's not anybody in this game I really dislike.
I would agree. After the JT, I agree.
Initially, I was looking at the Houston receivers, but I'm just like, they're gonna be fine. They'll get theirs. Tank Dell's coming back. I think he might be questionable still, but it's leaning towards that he's gonna play. But
I heard he's active.
But I do like Schultz this week for Houston as well.
He needs to wake. I mean, he's got to get in eventually, right?
You would think, but
he has not got in yet.
They added so many weapons in that offense. Like Schultz is kind of like that 4th or 5th guy, but he's going to get his every once in a while, but he's not going to be the dynamic piece that he was last year for him.
Yeah, and Indy's defense is 27th against tight ends, so if it's a day to have him, put him in your starting lineup, guys.
Yeah. Green Bay and Jacksonville is the next one up. This one, I don't know what to make of it because Jacksonville's just bad, but they've halfway looked better of late. That's why I say halfway. I mean,
I got nothing to say about Jacksonville.
They beat the Patriots last week, but it was just like, it's the Patriots.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, again, where you at, bro? Like, you were supposed to be the savior. First overall draft pick. You look like God with your hair flanging down. Everybody thought you were about to be this guy. You just before the season started, signed the biggest contract of your life. And then they celebrated you, made that stadium, whatever his name was that day, that they lost to the Browns. They changed the name of the stadium just to
it went from Everbank to Trevor Bank.
Yeah,
Stadium.
Trevor Bank. Yes, they changed it for him just that day. And it's just like, dude, come on, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's Doug Peterson, but
it's a big part of it is Peterson, but the line's been bad this year for him. It was a strength last year, at least early on last year, but it's been downright.
But you're a veteran at this point in the league as a quarterback.
This is year 5 for him.
Come on, get the ball out quick. You know your guys.
4,
Come on. You just signed that contract. Come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
So and today I don't like him either.
Yeah, it's Green Bay gives up the 6th fewest points to quarterbacks. Like it's just.
That secondary is nasty.
Nasty. Yeah. Alexander is an absolute stud back there. So
and then that one safety, he was literally getting an interception every game except the last 2 games he didn't get an interception.
Does Lawrence throw a pick 6 today?
More than likely. I mean, I'll put money on it.
I feel like the money's.
I'll parlay it. I'll parlay it.
So is there anybody you guys like from the Jaguars offense today?
Evan Ingram might have a day. Because Trevor, I mean,
okay.
I will say Trevor Lawrence does put a lot of passing yards because they have to throw the ball, and so I like Ingram today.
And that's fair. When Ingram's been healthy, he seems like he's the number 1 option in that offense.
Yeah.
Even though Brian Thomas Jr. has been coming on of like the last 4 weeks or so, like.
But it's like Evan Ingram's a tight end receiver hybrid, so.
And then for the Packers, I like Josh Jacobs. The Jags just have a horrendous passing defense, and I think he eats today off of that.
Yeah, so they play from behind, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean they play
Oh,
up,
yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
then they just run the ball down their
Yeah.
throat. I like that.
See, I like Christian Watson. Like, since he's been in the league, I have not been a Christian Watson fan at all. Like, I didn't like the pick when they made it. I just felt like he was a very developmental pick to where the tools were there, but just the mind wasn't necessarily. To where he's been so inconsistent. He's been unhealthy in his entire time in Green Bay. But against this defense, yeah, I feel like he gets about 80 and a touchdown a day.
Yeah, and Love spreads the ball around.
Yes.
No one just eats
Outside
one
of
game.
Reed,
No, for sure.
it's spread around
Yeah.
so much to where you gotta
Like
kind of
Dobbs had 17 points last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like Dobbs is probably off this week to where it's
Christian
potentially
Watson time.
Watson, maybe even Wicks. Like it's and that's why I'm going with Watson. It's just a dart, but it could be a very valuable one if it can get you a W.
Yeah, I'll agree. I love Love, so he's gonna give somebody the ball. So go with Watson today. Let's get it.
All right, Arizona and Miami. Like, this one is one of those games that could be a blowout, could be a high-scoring game between both teams. Like, you just don't know how it's going to end up.
Yeah,
Tua returns.
that's the big
and
story.
It should open up that offense tremendously.
I would agree, man. It's like literally open up the whole offense. I like A-Train today. For the simple fact of the offense is being so open. When Tua went down, they're stacking boxes because you didn't have to worry about the outside guys because no one can get them the ball.
Yeah.
It wasn't them. Those outside guys are beasts, but nobody can get them the ball where they need it, where they like it. Nobody just throwing it deep to Tyreek at all. Now Tua's back. Now you got to worry about Tyreek. And so once that happens, you can't load the box anymore. And now A-Train eating. A-Train hasn't ate since Tua left. He's been horrible since Tua's left.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bounce back game for him as well.
And you talk about A-Chain. I actually like Mostert potentially have a good game to where he could end up getting a touchdown or two against Arizona's defense.
For sure.
Like, even though they're good against run, it's because they've been so bad against the pass to where they're probably that's where their focus should be today, to where it's gonna have holes for both those guys to run through and potentially get big chunks and touchdowns out of it.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. So deeper leagues, look for Mostert for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
On a side note here, how long until Tua gets another concussion?
Over under 2.5 weeks.
Oh my
I was just
gosh.
saying 3. So you right there, Mike.
I mean, I hate saying stuff like that, man, but like,
Hopefully he doesn't. Like,
I hope not. I'm not rooting for him to get a concussion. Obviously, that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm
No,
just
for
like,
sure. No, for sure.
I think it's really careless and reckless of the Dolphins to put him back in, especially this season.
well, did you?
I mean,
see
how many times has he like looked like he's throwing up gang signs when he goes down with one of these concussions? Like,
every
Yeah,
time?
just-
I'm just saying, it's been 3 times in a row where he's like the fingers are contorting. That is obvious brain damage.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's not even wearing like the helmet cap either. He's like refusing.
He wants to look too cool for that, you know.
I
I
don't
wouldn't
care.
say
Like,
it's looking cool.
like-
Listen,
you have to protect yourself, and like
the last concussion was his fault.
yes, 100%.
So I'm thinking that they're looking at this like this one could have been avoidable. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
And
why does he
didn't
run with the
need
ball
to-
at all? Like ever?
Well, he just put the ball down. If he slides like a regular quarterback,
he
and don't
doesn't slide,
just
though. He
try
doesn't
to
know how to
charge at his
slide.
head.
like I understand why he dove. He was trying to get the first down, but it's just not smart in that
He already
situation.
had the first down. He needs to.
Yeah,
He got it by 2
just-
yards.
yeah.
Oh no, he had it plenty,
I
bro.
want to say, but when you're out there playing, it's kind of
It's hard to look
Yeah.
at it, but why are you leaning forward when
like
you have all those concussions?
I bet it's been hammered in slide.
Yeah, but and another thing, I don't think we can tell this man to sit out. If the man wants to keep playing, that's on him, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
he's gonna go get that money. He's guaranteed so much money this year, next year, and the year after. He's not gonna leave that on the table. That's gonna take care of your family forever. He's thinking about his family at this point. You know, like
100%.
you know, if I gotta
It's
risk
just
my
scary.
my whereabouts to have all this money for my family, generational wealth, I mean,
Yeah.
gotta do it. You know,
No, for sure.
so, but I think he might be all right just for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's just got to play it smart. That's the big thing.
yep,
I do like him today, though.
Yes.
yeah.
I'll say, is there anybody you don't like today?
No, not really. No one in particular. I do just if you have a Miami offensive player, you want to consider starting. That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say.
It's back to the regular business now. Back to your regular schedule programming with Miami. We can go on,
I
man.
want to say,
Unless you want to say you don't like
yeah,
somebody.
so Miami does a fantastic job in the passing game this year. They've done it all year, and granted, it's more so been teams just getting up early and just running the ball on them, which last year they weren't able to do. This year, it hasn't been a problem. But Miami gives up the second least amount of points to wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks. So Kyler Murray is a very iffy start today.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, and he hasn't been playing well of late either, which hasn't helped. But, like, as a whole, like, I am just going off of that to where it's James Conner is going to be the is
If
probably gonna get
Arizona
his,
is
if they're
smart.
able to get it going.
Yeah, I like Connor too. The only thing is, if Arizona wants to, if they play from behind, they're gonna just try to throw the ball. It's gonna get ugly for them. So I mean, I don't like Harrison. I think he's unlocked today as well. So to follow up with your Murray pick.
All right. So next game, which could be a really boring game.
We shouldn't even spend too much time here.
It's the Jets and the Patriots. Like, at the end of the day, the Patriots offense just is atrocious.
It's worse than the Browns in my eyes. I mean,
it kind of feels like it has been, and it's just it's unfortunate. Like, because that's an NFL offense that's going out there. It's just like, man, like, that's the best you can do.
Yeah, and coming off of, like, I know it ain't just now, but off of the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, and you have not found a replacement yet.
Like, and it hasn't even been close.
Yeah, and you guys known he was leaving,
and arguably
2 weeks before he left, 2 years before he left, you guys knew he was leaving. There's no backup plan,
and it's yet to be seen with Drake May. He's looked okay. He's looked really bad. He's a rookie, still trying to figure it out. There was question
marks.
marks.
Like Will Levis. I mean, they're like
he doesn't look that bad.
They're the same people.
It doesn't look that bad. I mean, he's not giving you memes every week. So there's that. But like they don't have a receiver. Like, Ramondre can only do so much. Like, it's just, you feel like you don't feel bad because you had to deal with that team for 2 decades. So it's just like, yes,
yeah, you're getting paying on
deserve.
The Patriots. I'm sorry to interrupt you, bro. Like, I'm thinking about that. Like, who are you paying on the Patriots? Where is your money at on that team?
The defense.
It makes me think about the Guardians. Sorry to go to baseball, but they don't ever play any of their team. But so they have to have their farm system like really show up like they did this year. Like, you wonder where all that money goes.
I mean,
you're not putting it into the team.
There's a minimal you have to spend, but it's on the offensive line and it's on the defense. And the defense hasn't been able to stop anybody for shit anyways. So, like, it's just been a huge mess.
I don't see any talent on offense whatsoever.
No.
Not one guy, bro.
Ramondre, that's it.
Yeah,
maybe that is absolutely
but he's got
it.
a fumbling problem.
Yeah.
So,
like, they have young receivers, but you can keep bringing in all these young receivers. It doesn't mean they're going to pan out.
I mean, they might if you find somebody and throw them the ball.
It's true. But all right, so enough about the Patriots because we talked way longer on them than we probably should have. Yeah. But the Jets, like, I like Lazard this week. Like, even though having Wilson and Adams, like, Lazard's kind of that sneaky guy. Obviously, the chemistry with Rodgers, like, he finds a way to get his every week. Even bringing in Adams and Wilson got 9 targets apiece last week. Lazard was still second in the team in receiving yards.
I think Lazard has the most chemistry with Aaron Rodgers than anybody. And I know
because there was no gap.
It was no drop off.
So Lazard, like, he's not going to get you 100 yards. Odds are he's not going to get you a touchdown, but I think he's going to be a consistent, like, 60-yard guy. He's a great filling guy, and then obviously no buys this week. But he's like that great filling guy.
I like the guy for a touchdown. I mean, I think he didn't get one last week, but the week before that he got one. The week before that he got one. That was your touchdown guy. Yeah. So I like him. If you're gonna play him, you better be hoping he's getting 7.
He's a good flex start. Like, to where if you absolutely need somebody because of injuries, and there's been a lot of them of late, especially with the receivers.
I think he actually might be questionable. We need to double check that now that I think about it. You said something about injuries. Can you double check that, Nate? But
what's that?
Lazard's injury.
Yeah, let me pull that up.
Yeah, because I read something because I actually have him in one of my leagues and I actually put him for my my flex spot for some reason.
But you like Breece Hall this week, right?
Yeah, I do like Brees.
Well, I mean, he had a great week last week. He did it all.
I was about to say, honestly, he's the most consistent player on their offense.
Absolutely.
The most consistent player on their offense. And New England's defense against running backs is 20th.
Yeah,
so.
they gave in standard they gave up the 5th most points.
Yeah,
so like it's if Hall doesn't cook today, then that offense they did something wrong.
Yeah, they're trying too much with Aaron Rodgers. If that's the only way you don't just come on.
Lazard is a game time decision. He's listed as doubtful. Game time decision.
Okay, so
I wouldn't go with him.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah.
He was projected about 5 points this week, so I'm saying they think he's probably not going to play.
Yeah, so look out for that.
I like the Jets big in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be remote. I think they're kind of pissed off after last week too because that team did not show up in the second half.
Yeah. Look for Aaron Rodgers probably throw 2 and then Hall take over from there.
Yeah.
Got a lineup question.
Yes, sir.
Kareem Hunt or Debo?
Kareem Hunt.
It's a full PPR flex.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Debo's questionable. I mean, he's been
he's dinged up, and Hunt
just looks
dude hasn't missed a beat in that offense, and he hasn't been there in 5 or 6 years.
Left, came back, and it's still those top 3, bro.
Yeah,
it's the 3-headed monster.
Still catches the ball, like he just does everything well, and Mahomes trusts him.
Yeah, and then they don't even care about the backup getting any love in that offense.
Oh, Steele?
Anymore. Yeah, like I'm just saying, before Kareem Hunt, they were before and after. I mean, when Kareem Hunt was on the team, it was Kareem Hunt, and then he left, and then it was everybody else.
Well, Pacheco kind of carved out that role the last 2.5 years.
But then, it was Clyde first, Edwards, and then Pacheco came back, and then they were splitting. And then Pacheco kind of took it over a little bit. But it's like you always had somebody taking it. There's no taking it over from Hunt. The guy is amazing.
When Pacheco gets back, I think you see a split.
Maybe in the passing game.
Pacheco's really good.
But he's on the hot hand right now, bro.
I was just surprised the Chiefs even signed Hunt. They already have a really good kicker.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Oh my god, dude! you are so bad, dude. I'm glad that joke's gonna go over most people's head.
Probably not, but
it will over most people's head. It will.
Might go right into it. All right, on to the next game, which this has the makings of being one of the better games this week. It's Atlanta and Tampa.
And yeah, we gonna get into this game because we are opposite on this game. Go ahead, go first.
I don't like Baker this week, and it's not from
your guy.
No.
I like Baker. I just don't like him this week because of the fact he's lost his top 2 receivers last week. I think Evans is done for about 4 or 5 weeks. Godwin's obviously done for the season, but you bring in these new guys, they're not necessarily battle tested. I know Sterling Shepard is going to be their number 1, and we saw how that worked in New York. You're going to get a hungry Atlanta defense, which has been playing better lately. And I feel like it could be a struggle today. And it's not necessarily he's going to get his yards more than likely, but it's going to be the picks.
Yeah, even though Lazard is...
I'm giving you the floor, bro. I want you to get it all in, bro. Get it all in.
Have at it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, this guy right here next to me has been preacher Baker Mayfield this whole time, this whole year. And now he's scared because his 2 receivers are hurt. Then you've been telling me how good this guy is, Baker Mayfield. So has it been Baker Mayfield or the 2 receivers?
A little bit of both.
I think it's been Baker Mayfield.
Baker's got to get him the ball, but those are 2 damn good receivers that he just lost.
No doubt about it.
They're both top 10, too.
In Cleveland, Baker loved no-name receivers. Ask Hollywood Brown for people that don't know Hollywood Brown. They're probably like, who's Hollywood Brown? This guy's still repping Cleveland, and he ain't been there forever because Baker Mayfield made him to who he was. You feel me? Jarvis Landry wasn't a big name, but, he didn't have an ego.
Landry was good before he got the
But when he got there, he was the main guy, and it was more of a... So, put it this way. When big receivers with big, huge egos, Odell Beckham couldn't work with them. You know what I'm saying? He can't.
Well, Beckham didn't run routes.
Yeah.
Baker needs guys that runs routes.
Baker needs people that runs their right routes. He don't like people that freelance. But some quarterbacks love people that freelance, because they're a freelancing quarterback. So it didn't work that way. I think Baker has a huge game today. I think he's determined to show people oh, I'm Baker Mayfield. I love those 2 guys, but I can still do it without these 2 guys. I think Shepard has a good game, and then I think his name's McCollin or something. Number 15 from Tampa Bay. He's been going to him with them 2 big name guys. He's been still looking for him. I think if Baker Mayfield wants a staple on the NFL this year, this is the game to have it, bro. Because Atlanta, I think it's gonna be a shootout. Atlanta's 20th against receivers.
Yeah.
That does work in his favor if he's, working with less.
So, like,
Who are those receivers they're throwing to, though? I mean, yeah, they may be 20th against the receivers, but who are you going to?
I like Sterling Shepard, man.
Okay.
I know you guys are not hot on him because he wasn't that it in New York, but
whenever he's had to be the one, that's when he's kind of folded. Is if he can be the number 2 or the number 3, dude can play really well. He can put up numbers as well. But as the number 1, like, it's a struggle. And Atlanta has a really good cornerback that will lock him down.
all right.
But I like K. Dotton could be well. He's had touchdowns in his last 2 games. So, like, it's a guy to look at.
Yeah, I don't even like Baker, but I like him today, man. I like him today. I don't like the running back game today. Atlanta is 6 against running backs. Their defense is giving up. Nah, no sir. I don't like their running back to this day. And I think there is going to be a shootout. So it's going to be Drake London and them catching a bunch of passes and touchdowns.
But they got, I want to say Tampa has 3 running backs that can catch the ball.
Yeah,
Tucker, not as much, but he's more than capable.
yeah. I'll give you that.
So, like, they could see theirs in the dink and dunk stuff because they don't have anything on the outside.
All right. I didn't look at it that way, but yeah.
So if you got full PPR, could be the way to go.
Yeah, but that helps my point for Baker, just to let you know. So thank you. I appreciate that.
But the dink and dunk stuff isn't necessarily going to get you touchdowns.
I mean, it might not if these good, but they're athletes. Get them the ball in the open space. You might
fair.
see something happen.
Like, I feel like Baker's been top 5. I think he's still top 5 for this year. Like, it's
And now you don't like them.
No, I don't think you're going to see that necessarily today.
I don't think this defense is as hyped up as you making it seem. I think they're going to go shot for shot, man. Shot for shot. I think all their games has been close.
Yeah, with both, I would say both Atlanta and Tampa, they've been pretty close games all season long.
I think it's shot for shot today.
So,
Yeah.
If Baker's that guy.
Yeah, and for Atlanta, I like Kyle Pitts because of the shootout last time. It was his best game of the season. I'm hoping that continues with this because I do have him on my team. But I do think if you're debating tight ends, that Kyle Pitts is an option for you.
Yep.
I like it.
And they did a play already this year, right?
Yeah,
It was a shootout there. Yeah.
It was a good game.
And I know you're going to say
watched
they
that.
had the 2 receivers, but I mean, like I said,
It makes
Baker's
a
got to
difference.
show up. Baker's got to be that guy.
I know.
I'll back him today. The only day I'll back him. Let's go, Baker. Let's go, Baker Mayfield.
So, we good on that game?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so this next game, so Philly and Cincy, it's one of those weird games. Cincy's been playing great football the last 3 or 4 weeks.
I do have an update for you on this game. T. Higgins is out.
Ooh.
Oh, that changes things a little bit.
Injured
I
his
knew he was
quad during
questionable.
Friday's practice. He is out for the game.
So with Higgins being out like that, I liked him a lot this game. It seems
I've
like
seen
as
that.
he's-
That's why I said something.
appreciate that. So as Higgins has been playing, he's been playing well. Burrow's been playing well. Without Higgins, like Burrow has looked like he's looked like crap. Like let's be honest. Those first few weeks, Higgins wasn't there. That team looked bad. Burrow did not play well. These last 3 or 4 weeks,
I think they only had a bad hiccup against the Chiefs. Every other time, him and Jamar Chase has been eating.
Would you pick the Eagles defense because of that situation though? Would that be a play?
Because T. Higgins is out?
Yeah.
No.
I
mean, because of Burrow, does that affect their offense that much?
I would look for other options if you have Philly's defense.
Gotcha.
But like if there's not much out there, then potentially just because of the turnover potential.
I mean, they still
But-
got AI Cincinnati. He's been showing up.
But he's a slot receiver. He's not.
He's been eating when
Yeah.
T. Higgins wasn't there. He was been guys stepping up and eating. I mean, whatever. Say they shut him down. Joe Burrow's going to have to throw the ball all day.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And-
Because they don't have a run game.
Yeah,
Like it's they,
and both their running backs love to catch the ball out of the backfield.
as much as they won't admit it, they miss Mixon in that offense.
Yeah, you'd have to.
I don't think they had a big running game with Mixon,
It was more consistent, which opened up even
but
more.
it was never a running team. That's
No.
why they felt like they can let Mixon go.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was they missed Mixon. I think they just missed their identity this year. If you paid Jamar Chase in the beginning of the year, he's comfortable. All this ain't even talked about.
Correct.
T. Higgins gets a contract this offseason. None of this is talk about. You feel me? the Bengals are putting themselves in bad situations
Yeah.
because they don't want to pay nobody.
It's the
And
cheap
honestly,
owner.
yeah, and if you play Jamar Chase now, the ticket will be better now than it will be next year. It's just gonna keep going higher because Jamar Chase is 1B to 1A Jefferson. And I'll say that because you're so huge on Jefferson, and Jefferson is a dog. So I'll give Jamar Chase 1B.
Yeah.
Every contract, any receiver that's get paid before him, his ticket just goes up. His ticket price goes up.
Arguably, yeah, but like, I think Jefferson kind of set that ceiling.
Well, he's not gonna get more than Jefferson.
No, and he shouldn't.
He probably should.
Yeah.
And because they set the market, not because who's better. All these quarterbacks that get paid are not better than the quarterback that got paid before them.
No.
They just set the price. They set the market. And Jefferson set the market, and Jamar Chase should just get as more than Jefferson because he set the market early.
That's fair. So obviously, I like T. Higgins. Probably not. He's not going to play.
Yeah. So would you go AI then? T. Higgins has done a lot in the slot. When he's been healthy, he's been killing in the slot.
I don't even know who to like in this game. The obvious. Then the obvious guys like you got Burrow, you got Hurts. You're going to start both those. You have AJ Brown. You have Chase. You're going to start both those. Like
I don't know how big I am on the receivers from Philly today.
I like AJ Brown. Like, dude's a dog, always shows up, especially in these kinds of games. But like Devontae Smith, I don't know if I like him today. As good as he's been playing of late, like I feel like
if anything, Cincinnati's defense go hang their head on is they're 12th against receivers.
Yeah.
So I think whoever their main focus is going to be AJ Brown. I know you say you don't like Smith because of that, probably. The 12th thing in AJ Brown is AJ Brown. He eats no matter what.
I just don't think they have anybody that can guard him.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be so much focus on him. Two guys looking at him where Devontae Smith might eat, So I just have that's how I look at it.
For sure.
They're going to hang their head on their 12th, so they're stopping somebody.
Yeah.
They did play some tough games. I mean, they did play Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, for sure.
Yeah. Baltimore, Zay Flowers. I don't think Zay Flowers ate that game. I think it was more of it was Likely
Bateman.
and Bateman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I look for those secondary guys to eat.
All right.
Except Chase, I look for him to eat because now, especially with T. Higgins out. So
and I feel like with Brown and Chase, it's like, oh, you did this, I'm about to do this.
Yeah.
Yo, you did this, I'm about to do that.
Yeah.
So should be a fun game.
Oh yeah, I think
it should be entertaining at the very least.
Yeah, I think both offenses light it up today.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool to see Chase Brown and Sidney Brown go against each other. Two identical twin brothers for the first time playing against each other in a game. They played on the same team in high school, same team in college.
I forgot about them.
Yeah,
First time they'll face off together or against each other in the NFL. So that'd be pretty cool.
That is awesome.
It should be
that will
interesting.
be talked about in broadcast.
Oh,
so.
and there's going to be a jersey swap too at the end of it.
Oh, for sure.
Dude.
All right, so that's it for the 1 o'clock games. Moving on to the 4 o'clock games.
4 o'clock, late games.
We have what is an interesting one to start. It's
God,
the Saints and the Chargers.
This guy, man.
All right, so
How do you?
what he is referring to is I don't like. Outplayed Kamara last week. Did he not?
Here we go.
No, I'm just saying they added another running back has been added to the fold, which will take a little off his plate. But like it's just I think Carr might be back this week too.
I hope.
Ritter's been rolled out. I know that.
Has he?
I believe so.
Get concussion?
I think from last week. So I think Carr's back this week anyways, which should make the offense look a little bit better.
Check that date. But because if Carr is back, dude, that's AK's eating. Because you say he's only good for touchdowns. If an AK, okay, so AK is more of your catching running back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's his name? Outplayed him last week. He's your in between in tackles. Yeah. He's gonna eat off of that. If Carr's back, oh my God, AK's really good.
But it'll open up. It'll at the very least opening up the passing game. Which I mean, it could help Kamara, but like
you have no other receivers too, so you're looking for him too as your receiver, one of your main receivers.
Possibly, but I like the tight end there as well if Carr's back.
Got a couple lineup questions here, guys.
All right.
Oh yeah, break it down.
First one here. Pick 2. Full PPR, wide receiver 2 and flex. Chubb, Dobbs, Shakir, or McMillan?
McMillan, I do like him. That was the
Okay.
receiver you were talking about for Tampa.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
I like McMillan. I think he could be sneaky good this week, especially against Atlanta's number 2 corner.
Yeah, I'm not Chubb, guys.
I don't like Chubb. I don't like
Chubb.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
not this
Who-
week.
He
who
just
is-
gotta. He's gonna get 10 carries. I think the only reason he got so high last week is because they kind of forced him to get a
Yeah.
touchdown once they
Well,
got down there.
No other running backs were healthy.
They
either.
were if they never got that close, they wouldn't have put him in the game. So,
so.
I
They kind of got
Guys,
almost
yeah.
a charity touchdown last week.
that's what I want to call it, but
So
I love
running
Chubb, so I'm not gonna
So
call it that.
who is the fourth option?
It's
I don't like.
Chubb, Dobbs,
You
Shakir,
like
or
Dobbs.
McMillan.
Um,
He said he's leaning towards Dobbs and Shakir.
Shakir? No.
Shakir. They have two good.
From Buffalo?
They have 2 good corners in Seattle.
Yeah,
It's
And
scary.
you've been super high on him this year. When
No,
we first
They
started,
don't,
it, you thought
but they got Cooper now. Cooper has become the number.
Yeah.
He's the number 1 there. Shakir
Yeah.
was the number 1 by default because they didn't have anybody
no.
else.
Coleman was number 1.
Yeah.
But Shakir was the option.
He was
that,
a number 2.
Yeah, but he's that kind of guy that Allen loves. He's the route runner. He's the guy that gets.
I didn't think he had a big game. I think he eats more than he did before. Now with Coop, I think now you're looking at Shakir like you was looking at him before. Because
Yes.
now he's not a number 2. He's not gonna get big name.
Oh, he's going to be that guy in the slot that's just going
That's
to
what I'm
wreak
saying.
havoc. And that's what he did
Yeah.
last year too.
And that's
late in
probably
the
what that
season.
guy's thinking.
So I would probably go with, arguably.
I would say Dobbs and McMillan.
I would go with so he needs 2 guys.
Yeah, he's asking.
yeah.
Oh,
two.
see,
I say no on Dobbs because he exploded last week, so it's going to be a different guy this week, and it's just based off of that alone.
Dobbs
you're
didn't
going
have that
Chubb,
big of a game
McMillan?
last week. I
He
don't
had
even think he
17
got
points.
in. He didn't even get in, and that was against one of the worst Russian defense.
You said he had 17 points
Dobbs.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
for Green Bay.
Oh, I thought we were talking about my bad. I thought we were talking about J.K. Dobbins.
No, not
my
Dobbins.
bad. Yeah, Dobbs. Okay. Ooh,
Yeah.
my bad.
Honestly,
Yeah, he did have 17.
screw it. Go with Chubb as the second guy.
Okay.
They don't have anybody else. And if it's a close,
With Jameis Winston playing, you got Njoku.
no. I'm talking about as far as the backfield goes. I don't think.
Oh, yeah,
Like I feel like he's going to be a guy that gets dumped down to as well.
but I just don't think that he's gonna get enough reps. I don't think they're gonna. They're going against Baltimore.
Do you think he gets a touchdown though?
if they get close enough, maybe? But all right, I give you that. But
If
He's
you're
saying Dobbs has been going off. He's almost a must start, he feels like.
yeah, that guy. Dude, I like, especially with that.
He says he wants to wait a week on McMillan. I don't know about that.
No.
He's one of those guys where if you're going to play him, you play him now.
Yeah,
'cause he's not going to
McMillan,
be
you
good
have
next week.
if you're thinking about waiting a week, you're definitely playing him this week because they have nobody else other than him and Shepard.
Yeah.
and,
That's
a good point,
And
yeah.
Baker, if they're playing from behind, which it could totally happen, they're
And-
going to have to throw the ball.
And if you go back to week 1 where they blew, I don't remember who they played in week 1. They blew him out. McMillan got some looks late in that game when
Yeah.
the game was kind of out of hand and they were bringing Evans and Godwin off to where McMillan was in there as number 1 or 2 at the time, and he was getting
McMillan's
looks and
your
yards.
start for sure.
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that, right? And I think we're just
no, yeah, I agree with that.
the second guy is where we're trying to defer. You like you like Chubb.
I like Shaw. I think good potential of getting a touchdown today, plus probably about 40 or 50 yards. That's double-digit points.
So you're saying Chubb and McMillan?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how I'm leaning too.
Yeah, see
I
no problem
like
with that.
Dobbs.
I would
But-
say Dobbs and McMillan, but I'm outnumbered. So
That's
go
a
with
good one.
majority. Go
That's a
with
good point.
majority. Because I
Sterling
love throwing the
Shepard
ball.
and
It-
Baker
it-
played together
it
in
is really
college.
down to those two, though.
It scares me because I don't think they're gonna force anything for Chubb right now, dude. And Dobbs, he's been.
I think with Winston though, it's going to open up the passing game will open up to where you can't stack the box. So he's going to get 6-7 man boxes.
All right, let's make a pick, guys. Javelle, who you got? Two starts.
McMillan and Dobbs.
John, who you got?
McMillan and Chubb.
I'm gonna go McMillan and Dobbs. Actually, he's convinced me.
All right.
So McMillan for sure sounds like.
No,
Yeah, I think
for
I'm
sure.
leaning towards McMillan too.
Oh, I see the argument for.
I think
both,
between
Dobbs
Chubb
or
and
Chubbs.
Dobbs, it's
Yeah.
kind of a toss up. Like
Flip a
either
coin,
way.
man.
Whoever, it's your preference on that one for sure.
So next question: Montgomery or Connor, or sub out Kraft and start both? I don't think you sub out Kraft. He's in a tight end premium league.
Oh, tight end premium. No, you keep Kraft.
Yeah, for
I-
sure.
yeah, and he's gonna eat today. Scroll
Absolutely.
back up because I'm
It was Connor and who else?
Montgomery.
scroll up to the Green Bay game, if you would. Nate.
I say Montgomery, but
Yeah, right there. Jacksonville. Yeah, Jacksonville's 23rd against tight ends. Yeah.
No.
Kraft's gonna eat.
Yeah,
today.
Kraft's gonna eat.
Yeah, you don't take him out. So it's between Connor and who?
And Montgomery.
Yeah.
Montgomery.
Honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. It's just, do you like the matchup better for Montgomery or Connor?
Yeah,
They're both good. They're both really good matchups.
And my only argument is, again, Kyler Murray might have to be playing from behind.
Yeah.
When you're doing that,
Connor catches the ball.
he does.
So
are we dependent on Kyler Murray to be like
and he's great in pass
getting
pro.
him the ball,
And he's
getting it to him?
Connor's
throwing
great
it
in
to
pass
him.
pro, so he's not coming off the field.
Yeah. Well.
But honestly, I'd probably go Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm going Montgomery.
Same.
The only thing that scares me is Gibbs might take a touchdown from him, but other than that,
Yeah, but
it's especially if they go up big, it's eat time from both of them guys.
Yes.
So I'm going Montgomery.
All right, there you have it. Montgomery was the pick. Last lineup question here. This one's from that guy on YouTube. Says full PPR, Gibbs or Montgomery?
Full PPR.
Oh,
Gibbs, guys.
Yeah. You
Not
gotta
even
go with
thinking
Gibbs.
about it.
Yeah.
Stop
I mean,
thinking
that's
too
the
hard.
no-brainer
Yeah.
in that
I was
lineup.
Stop
trying to think of
thinking too
why I
hard.
wouldn't pick Gibbs.
He's the
Basically.
one. He's the
Yeah,
one guy in
it's-
that lineup
it's
that's
probably
a must start
if
every
it's
week.
full PPR, you go Gibbs. But like I said, we both think they're both going to eat today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I think they're gonna have a big day.
And if who's going to catch the ball more? I don't know.
That's a
Too.
great question.
neither one might not have to. It might be Amon-Ra and Laporta.
Yeah, true.
And,
Yeah, but no, Laporta's not. We both don't like.
I know we don't
none of
like
us
him, but they got
Lo-
Raymond there too. So they're still gonna be able to spread it out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to the games. Buffalo and Seattle. I absolutely love Dalton Kincaid in this game. Seattle gives up the 5th most points to tight ends. It just is a match made in heaven. And with having Cooper, it gives you a legit wide receiver to take a little bit of pressure off to where Kincaid can feed in the middle.
Yeah.
And against this defense, he probably will.
Yeah. I like Coop. I think they've been giving him Coop's been Coop. I don't care what anybody say. He's sandbagged. He did the Browns. He wanted to get out of there. Don't blame him. Everything was ugly. So I like Coop. I think that he gets in there again for your deeper leagues, I guess. Because there's other options out there for receivers. But yeah, I like Coop. They give up. Seattle gives the 16th most to receivers.
Yes, so they're like middle of the pack.
Yeah. So, and Josh Allen throws that thing. We all know that. So, Coop, I like him. You don't like Geno this year? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
No, I mean Buffalo gives up the 6th least amount of points to quarterbacks. It's just one of those games that I feel like Geno could be forced. No Metcalf this week either, or he's doubtful, so more than likely no Metcalf, and that plays into it as well. Like that's your number one dude. That's arguably the best player on that offense, and like I just feel like it's just not a great matchup. Now Walker, going to be a good matchup. Buffalo gives up the 6th most points to running backs so far this year, to where you could see Walker have a big game.
What about Tyler Lockett? Is he going to get some extra?
Oh, absolutely. So
think-
it's going to be Lockett and JSN. So you're going small as far as receivers go, but like it's just you don't have that big body.
Would you look at putting in Tyler Lockett the flex, maybe?
In the flex, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I think-
if Buffalo's given Buffalo's gives up the 27 most points, if I'm reading it right, to quarterbacks.
No, 27th least. So it's the 6th, or
Quarterbacks.
They give up the 6th least. Buffalo.
To quarterbacks.
Yes.
Quarterbacks is first.
Yeah. So Buffalo gives up the 6th least amount of points to quarterbacks.
Good to
What's the 27 then?
That's the 27th
overall.
most. So it should be the 6th least.
I'm confused on that. Okay, so
So,
all right.
so 26 teams give up more points to quarterbacks than what Buffalo does.
2016. Okay. All right, I got you. I don't know. I think this is another game they're gonna have to play from behind.
Yeah.
So
But if Buffalo's able to bring pressure, they do have guys that can take the ball away as well. And Geno has been known to throw bad balls.
do you not like anything on Seattle's defense then? I mean offense?
I like Walker. I mean, I think
I don't think they're gonna have a chance to give it to me. I don't know, dude.
but Buffalo hasn't exactly been blowing teams out left and right this year.
So they're giving there's other it's playing that number to me, so 6
All right,
to me.
So Buffalo gives up the 6th most points to running backs.
Okay. So that's
So
why
like,
you like
Walker is a
Okay.
good start. I mean, if you have him, you're going to start him anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
Okay.
about the only guy I really, really like for Seattle.
Okay. I'm with you on Tyler Lockett and the flex.
Yeah,
man.
that was one I debated earlier. I just wasn't sure if I liked or
Especially with
didn't
what's
like.
the name? What's the name out? I mean, Buffalo secondary ain't that good. I know.
But
that's
I was
what
worried
the
that maybe
paper
he would be
says, but-
targeted, or they would, the defenses would focus on him and just completely lock him
And
out.
Tyler Lockett was there before DK Metcalf, So
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Lockett's used to being a number one. I mean,
Yeah.
he can be. He's more comfortable as number two.
Oh, number two, he's
because he
great
can
in.
eat off those number two corners. So, but now you got JSN filling that role as a number two. So
That's a great point,
look
too.
at JSN in this game as well. I know you don't like Geno, but we got to throw somebody. It's an NFL game. Somebody's catching some passes, and
For
especially
sure.
if you're in PPR. So I would left and look at JSN
But
and
yeah.
Tyler Lockett.
But yeah, outside of that game, like Seattle does like middle of the road against wide receivers,
This really
quarterbacks.
should be a 1 o'clock game.
Running
But
backs.
since they're in Seattle,
It's in Seattle. That's why it's at 4 o'clock.
Because it could be a boring game.
But like, it's just one of those games that like, I don't think it's gonna like blow you away as far as like stats go. But because Seattle does, they play good defense. They had been the last couple of years. So like that's why I don't think like Buffalo just kind of runs away with it, especially being in Seattle. But I think Buffalo probably ends up winning it.
I think so. I agree with that.
One of the uglier games of the week. It's Carolina and Denver.
Yo, Bryce Young's back, baby.
Yeah.
What you mean?
Bryce Young's return, and it's against the team that's playing really good defense right now. and then you have
Yeah, I don't like anything on Carolina's
I
offense.
mean, Chuba Hubbard is 5th in the league in rushing yards. No idea how.
I don't like anything on Carolina's offense.
Deontay's not happy. He's probably getting traded in the next week or so.
The guy, I told you, the guy, he's just fast, bro.
He's fast and he runs great routes.
Yeah, because he's fast.
But like, I love Javonte Williams. You kind of saw
Same.
you kind of saw it last week. Like, hey, they gave him actual touches and he looked great.
Taking pressure off your rookie quarterback.
So by saying that, it just means they're going to completely go away from him this week because that is what Sean Payton does.
I think they get up early enough where they have to do it.
And that's what I'm kind of thinking. Carolina gives up the second most points to running backs, and after like seeing what Javonte did last week and seeing kind of how the offense ran, and it was efficient last week, which is kind of the first time it's looked like that since the preseason for him, to where I feel like
a lot of these rookie quarterbacks are showing you what they're going to give.
So I feel like if they actually believe in the formula that worked this past week on Thursday night, I think is when they played, like. If they keep going forward with that, they're going to potentially flirt with the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy enough.
I think it's 7 teams that get in the playoffs. I think they get in and the Chargers get in 6 and 7. So,
but like Javonte showed what he could do when you give him the ball, to where as long as Peyton decides to keep doing that, they're going to win games because of that.
Another lineups question here, guys. Who would you start? Josh Downs, Cedric Tillman, or Christian Watson?
Oh, that's 3 good choices. Like no big names, but like I like Downs a lot this week, but I feel like Pierce probably steals a long touchdown in that game.
for sure.
I would say Watson.
That was my first instinct.
And it's more so
Productivity.
yeah, Tillman, guys, we are on the wait and see with Tillman.
Yeah, exactly. That's not somebody you just jump in and throw in your starting lineup right now.
but
I like it just because
I have to see him because the guy don't run the right routes either. Like if you're a Browns fan and you're into
But
that
see,
stuff,
you don't need that with Jameis. Jameis just chucks it. Just get there.
yeah, but he ain't
That ball's
super
probably-
deep
I will say
threat.
with Tillman, he's good at finding soft spots in the zone. Like that's
is.
the one thing. He doesn't run great routes, but he finds open spots.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on the wait and see with Tillman though. Like I got to see it first.
I'm with
yeah.
you, man. I would say Watson's probably the start there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 good options for this week. They're all very viable with the matchups, but yeah. Watson for me.
I would agree.
Yeah,
But
there you
but
go.
Downs is definitely very serviceable if you're leaning towards that way.
But if you're a Browns fan, I mean, the Ravens secondary sucks.
If you're a Browns fan, don't do it. It's a trap.
No, if you're a Browns fan, throw him in there, bro. Throw him in there. Have some faith. He probably gets 7. It's only 3 guys. 3 guys you're really throwing the ball to on that offense right now.
Yeah.
So and he's one of them.
So all right. So for the rest of this Carolina Denver game, Carolina's horrible.
I'm
like,
done with it.
defensively. Like
Yeah.
Play your main guys, and we're done with it.
but like just go with Javonte. Everybody else can pretty much ride the bench for you. Chicago and Washington. See, this one is very intriguing because you don't know if Jaden Daniels is playing.
Yeah, and even if he does play, I'm not expecting what we were getting.
No, Chicago gives up the least amount of points to quarterbacks, and part of it is they got down early in games this year to where they were able to run the ball, but like defensively they play pretty sound against the pass. They give they give up the third least amount of points to receivers too, if that tells you anything. So they're actually pretty good on the back end.
Great stat.
I love Caleb Williams this week coming off a bye. Like you kind of saw it kind of click in London for him.
Yeah,
where hopefully he can kind of continue to really develop even more so.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the guy a lot today. He's got so many weapons, and he's really learning like how to use them, how they like to be used. And
This is that 1 versus 2 matchup that the NFL loves, and most of the time the one pick comes out on top. So like I think this is a game, not going by former trends or anything like that, but just I agree with you, John. I think Caleb Williams is going to have a great game today.
Yeah.
And by the trend you like said, we saw it last year. It was, I think, Panthers' only win last year, their first win last year.
Yeah.
This matchup typically goes the way of the number 1 pick. Just for whatever reason, it just works that way.
And the number 2 pick might not even play.
Yes.
And if Mariota plays, guys, I would sit Scary Terry.
Yeah.
The production. Yes.
Yeah. Brian Robinson Jr. is, I kind of spoke about it last week. The guy's good. The guy is really good, and they got him in the 4th round. Like, it's just he works with what the offense does. He does it really well. He's efficient, and he doesn't put the ball on the ground.
Right.
It's a big plus out of him.
I know you're huge on him, Kyle.
Oh yeah, for sure. Basically because of the issues with Daniels, who's going to carry the offense. Plain and simple.
Might not be anybody today.
Really?
Mariota try to do something. I mean, again, it's an NFL game. Somebody's got to do something like productively, I guess, for fantasy football. So, but I would be scared to start anybody that you regularly start passing wise from Washington today if McDaniels doesn't go. Even if he does go, I don't think the production is going to be there with them playing Chicago.
All right, Kansas City and Vegas. This is an unsexy matchup just because Kansas City's offense hasn't been great this year.
Not at all.
Like Mahomes is the fact that he's like still like top 3 in the MVP.
It's the defense that's been holding them down.
Yeah, and if you look go look at San Fran's defense or offense production last week, it was bad.
Yeah,
like
all time bad.
You arguably can't start guys against Kansas City this year. It's been weird, but they get shut down. They give
especially when you're bad. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to start anybody from Vegas offense.
Oh no.
So.
It's bad. Like there's nobody. There's
I mean, if
nobody
you got
worth
Kansas
to start.
City defense out there, this is a good game to play.
Yeah, you might see 20 points out of that defense.
It might be the leading scoring defense this week, guys.
But Kansas City gives up the least amount of points to running backs, and they give up the 6th least amount of points to receivers. It is not. And guess what? Vegas doesn't have a running back. They don't have like anything worth a shit in receivers.
Yeah.
Like it's just Kansas City probably wins by 20, but it's gonna be like 23-3.
Yeah, they're looking for their next quarterback over there in Vegas. But I think we all agree on Kareem.
Oh, Kareem, yeah. It's dude hasn't missed a beat, and it's
Not one.
which is wild because he hasn't been there in 4 years.
Yeah, and then
So, like, it's just a match made in heaven. Mahomes trust him, Reed trust him. Like, it's good things are happening for him there.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's like his fantasy numbers hasn't like when he's with them. Like Kareem Hunt was one of the top fantasy running backs, and he's getting his way back up there. He's scoring every game. He's getting over on his yards.
Like he never left.
Like he never left.
So who was the running back that caught those touchdowns for Kansas City last year?
Was it Pacheco?
No, it wasn't.
You talking about the running back?
Yeah.
But
he was
skinny
fantasy
guy number one.
Yeah, he was fantasy relevant, and it's because of what he brought to the passing game. And
what was his name?
And
I hate
Hunt,
you for that.
And Hunt brings that as well as great play from the running game.
Yeah,
but
I think we're good.
But yeah, it's kind of an ugly game. But like, you're gonna start your guys.
Yeah, especially Kareem. They're gonna. I mean, I don't see Kansas City not getting up early. So
yeah,
run the ball.
All right, Sunday Night Football. You look at this beginning of the season, you're loving this matchup. Right now, it's just like, ugh.
You don't know what to expect.
It's Dallas and San Fran. It's Dallas's offense has been downright atrocious this year, which is really weird because they have all this money wrapped up in it. It just hasn't been good.
I don't know what they thought they were going to get out of Zeke. I mean, even if you thought you were going to get something out of Zeke, you don't give him the ball enough. They said they were saving him for the playoffs.
You're not making the playoffs.
You're saving Zeke? Zeke for the playoffs. Nah, all right.
But, like, a primetime game in San Francisco, like, Dallas is probably getting wiped in this game.
Yeah.
The defense has been bad for Dallas. Like,
is Kittle playing?
That I don't know. I gotta imagine he probably does. At least he tries to give it a go. But like, I don't think it's really gonna matter a ton. I think Brock Purdy has a big game against that secondary.
Like saying, Kittle usually shows up against Dallas.
Like I know he
hates Dallas.
I know Ayuk is out. I know Debo is questionable, probably a game time decision in this game. But I feel like they have enough weapons to where Purdy is just going to spread it around to whoever gets open.
Your deeper leagues, and you deeper leagues, look for my guy that just got shot, Ricky Pearsall.
Like, he could be in line for
him and Jennings.
I think Jennings has been rolled out.
Has he?
I think so. Like, trust me, they are getting down on receivers in San Fran. But like, they have weapons out of the backfield.
So I would look for Ricky. I mean, if you're high on Purdy, he's got to throw somebody the ball. So I would go with Ricky.
I'll say, anybody you like in this game?
Like, no one in particular. When I was going over the matchups and stuff, just it's kind of a toss up to me. No one I would take a chance on is what I would say.
Like,
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Please look for Ricky.
Nobody I really dislike per se. I just think it's one of those games. It's like, if you got the guys that are must starts, you're going to start them. You're going to start CeeDee Lamb as much as he struggled this year. Dak is kind of
that's
up in
why
the
I
air,
don't
depending on
dislike
who you got.
anybody in this game, because you don't know what to expect out of Dallas. I mean, if you get the Dallas you've been getting, I don't like anybody from Dallas. Right. But if you get the Dallas that showed up, I mean, this is another game. It's Sunday Night Football. I just think it's going to be, people are going to show up. Like, these two teams will show up because they're star-studded. And like I said, Kittle hates Dallas. So
dude, he has some of his best games against Dallas. Makes it fun to watch.
For sure.
All right, final game of the week is Monday Night Football.
Bro, I hate you for
my boys.
Listen, I don't even like. What are we doing? Go ahead.
All right, so we got the Giants and the Steelers. Giants are still trying to figure out who the hell they are.
Are they starting Drew Lock this week?
I don't know.
Okay, if they not starting him, what's his name on the shirt? At least because he got pulled early.
Jones, yeah. That game kind of got out of hand early too.
Yeah,
it wasn't necessarily on him, but like, it's just. Yeah, he got ugly.
Pulled. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's on the short leash.
I love Najee this week. The way he's been running these last 2 or 3 weeks, like, man, he's been a man possessed, and he's like,
and it's because of Russell.
Russ helped last week a lot. I mean, I don't even remember who they played 2 weeks ago when he was just running all over people.
Vegas, I believe.
Yeah, so like, it was bad run defense. Najee looks good. You have a good run defense, but you bring in Russ, and it gave him open looks. Like, they no longer could put in 8 guys in the box.
Yeah, because you're not worried about the quarterback running.
And guess what? The Giants don't have they're middle of the pack as far as, points given up the running backs, but Najee's been playing well. The offensive line with all these kids have been playing well. Like, it's just kind of a good matchup that you can get behind.
Yeah. You don't like Neighbors, though.
I do not. I'm not a big So I love Neighbors.
Your guys, you don't like any of your guys this week. The guys that you were fighting for in the beginning of the year, you don't like any of them this week.
So, do you remember what I told you about Adams last week?
Devontae?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
He was going to get looks. The targets are going to be there for Neighbors, but you're not necessarily going to see the production. And JPJ is going to be all over Neighbors in this game because guess what? There's nobody else. Like, so they're going to let him just lock down Neighbors, and then the rest of the defense is going to take
Neighbors
care of
is just as physical, though.
No, I get it, but
I think that's a good matchup.
Porter's not going to back down. I know Neighbors isn't either, but like, it's going to be a fun matchup to watch, to where I don't think Neighbors necessarily gets a ton, maybe 50 yards, probably no tutties, but like, it's going to be a quieter game from him. And plus, I don't think he's fully healthy, which kind of factors in a little bit.
Yeah, no tutties though. Oof. You being Homer Nation right now?
No. Adams had 9 targets last week, 3
Adams
catches.
Adams ain't the starting receiver over there right now. It was his first game there.
Yeah, but it's not like he doesn't have chemistry with Rodgers.
But it's still a different offense.
It is, but like, for receivers, this is, hey, this is the route you're running, run it, get open.
You don't like their running back either then from the Giants? Somebody's got to eat.
Nobody might eat for the Giants this
I
week.
hear you because they're playing
Nobody
Pittsburgh.
might
Okay.
No, it's not even because they're playing Pittsburgh.
Nobody might eat. Okay. Somebody's eating on that team, bro. Somebody's eating. And that's what they want to fool you. They want you to think nobody eating. Giants win this game. Flat out. Mic drop.
Trust me, this is a huge trap game for Pittsburgh. I fully believe this is the game they could lose.
I think it is.
It's heading into the bye, coming
That's a
off
good
kind of a
point,
bigger
man, for
road
real.
win last week on Sunday night. Like, obviously, you get the extra night, but like, I'm worried about the team as a whole. But as far as fantasy goes, if the Giants win, it'll be because they win ugly. They get like a punt return for a touchdown or like just a pick six or something like that. Like, it's not going to be necessarily from the offensive production.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Pickens in this. I feel like Russ and Pickens are gonna have like a deep TD today. I think that's gonna. If you have him, I think that's happening. Also, I wanted to ask. I was something I thought about on the drive here. Like, all right, so we've had this Fields Russ thing with the Steelers, yet they've still continued to win. Like, what do you attribute that to having like a quarterback kind of situation, but yet you're
If
still
you say any other
The
names in the name
standard. Mike fucking Tomlin. That's
sir.
why.
Okay, I thought you were
Anybody
gonna say
else
something
who
else.
doesn't
Yeah.
agree with that
So-
has no idea what they're watching.
So Mike Tomlin's a big part of it, but you got to look at that defense too.
Mike Tomlin
Yeah.
is the
No, the
defense.
Mike
defense
Tomlin
is
is
Mike
the
Tomlin
defense.
is the defense.
That's the
What are we
identity
talking
of that
about here?
team.
It's been a defense. That's him.
No, I
that
know.
defense is his heart and soul,
No,
bro.
he doesn't have as much into the defense as you would think.
Mike,
Steeler fans
dude.
are like Buckeye fans with Ryan Day. Like,
I-
they are not going to be
right.
satisfied with just winning. They have to win everything.
Well, Ohio State, you do have to, dude. Like, especially when you
That's what I'm
have
saying, though. They're the same fan.
Pittsburgh
They
does
are
not
the
have the
same
highest
fan.
paid payroll. Like, let's just go there. Ohio State is the highest paid NIL team. You went out and you begged these boosters, said I can't compete at the Ryan Day because he was letting Chip Kelly run the offense while he goes talk to the boosters and practices, saying we need this much money for NIL. All right, we give it to you. You dropped the ball against Oregon. You against top 10s. Your record is ugly against top 10 schools, bro. I'm still gonna give them this year, and I'm gonna give them against Michigan, and let's see what they do in the playoffs. But bro, there's nothing else that they can give that man.
No, there's no excuses.
Yeah, there's nothing
for
else.
sure
Dude.
on that, dude.
You have the best receiver, and Alabama say he'd be second best, so there's another good 1A, 1B, but I think he's the best receiver in the freaking country right now.
Best freshman receiver.
Both of them are freshmen.
I know.
Who's better? That's not a freshman.
There's a couple guys I like.
No, I don't care who you like. None of those guys are better than the
here we
Bama
go.
guy or Jeremiah Smith. Come on, bro. Don't. Come on, be real.
I
Couple
love,
quick
That's 'cause you
questions
got that
before we
stupid
get off
hat on,
here.
bro.
No, trust
a
me,
couple
Michigan
of-
doesn't have anybody.
We got a
Quick
few.
lineup questions
Okay.
before we get done here. We just crossed over the noon mark, so quick questions here. Start Debo versus Cowboys or Brian Robinson versus Bears?
Brian
Brian
Robinson.
There you go. That was easy. Even though it was a full PPR, I don't think it matters.
Brian
there.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if Mariota's playing, he's
'cause
gonna dump it.
Debo doesn't catch a bunch of balls. He just makes the most of every ball that he does catch.
Yeah, he just
Good
runs
point.
the ball.
That guy on YouTube says, should I still start Brock Bowers? That's a must start.
I think so. He's the number one tight end in football this year.
Yeah.
It's not the best situation, but like
He's playing quarterback.
Minshew.
And then last one here, Alvin Kamara or Javante Williams in a PPR?
I think you guys know who I like. You know who he likes.
I'll be the tiebreaker.
Williams.
Like, I don't think you can go wrong with either one this week.
I think
No,
yes.
no, yeah,
But
yeah.
like, I'm not big on Kamara just because of the situation.
No, I like Kamara, and if Carr's back, that's a whole other thing. If
He
he's
is.
not, well then, all right, he is.
Yeah.
All right, well then, yeah, well, I do like him. But I'm gonna pick a Williams out of the two. But
Javante has the better matchup by far.
yes, Panthers. I was gonna bring that up before. The Panthers have given up more rushing yards per game than any other team.
Yeah.
So that's your selling point for him.
So
let him
that's-
have that one.
That's who we got?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it, folks.
All right,
John, you
thanks,
want to lead us
guys.
out? Or Kyle?
us
Anybody?
out.
Yeah. Going ahead. Oh, just thanks for checking in. Check back in next week. Feel free to get a hold of us. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, guys, keep those questions coming. Like I said, send them early, send them now for next week so we can answer them in the first segment when we get back next week.
Yeah.
John, anything?
I think we're good.
All right. OH, baby.
IO.
Still blows.
Yeah.
Excellent
Thanks,
show,
guys.
gentlemen.